there, this is Dean for Gamer Assault Weekly, and today I'm going to show you Pokken Tournament. Now this game was co-created by Bandai Namco and the Pokemon Company. So similar to how Koei Tecmo and Nintendo teamed up to give you Hyrule Warriors, this is a blending of Bandai Namco's Tekken fighting game and Pokemon's, well, Pokemon. Now because this was partially developed by a company that specializes in fighting games and has a very successful fighting franchise, Tekken, the fighting controls here actually feel very fluid and natural. The characters, even though some of them are bigger or bulkier and meant to be kind of slow, still don't feel too clunky as you move them around the screen. Everything here just feels very natural. It feels very good. It flows quite well. And luckily, it's not too awkward. The learning curve isn't too terrible. You'll pick up a lot of the movesets and the combos very quickly, so not only does the game feel very good as far as the controls and the gameplay aspect, but it's really easy to get into. And for those of you that are fans of the Pokemon franchise, you'll be happy to know that the roster here is actually pretty decent as well. It boasts 16 characters, although 2 of them, the Shadow Mewtwo and the Pikachu Libre thing, which is just Pikachu in a Mexican wrestling mask, I don't really count those as actual unique characters, so I'll say there's 14 in the roster, which is still pretty good for a fighting game. And they're not what you expect. They're not all regular humanoid creatures. There's a good variety here of a bunch of different creatures from different types and generations of the game. They all move and feel very differently in the game, so a lot of effort was put in to actually give it a good variety. One of the only downsides, however, about the roster is that the 14, or in reality 16 characters we have right now, are pretty much all you're going to get. Nintendo has come out and said that unlike Hyrule Warriors, Smash Brothers, and Mario Kart, they do not plan to do DLC for this game, so there's a very low chance, and by low I mean 0, that the roster will grow anytime soon. But moving on to more positives, the graphics and music in this game are also very, very good. The graphics especially, I was quite surprised in the detail they went into. For a game that is mostly just, battling and fighting 2 characters against each other, they really took the time to make it look very well. Not only do the backgrounds have a lot going on in the world around you, even though you're fighting in a small, limited stage, but even the characters themselves, the amount of detail that was paid to the fur on, Pikachu or Charizard, everything just looks immaculate. It looks very good, even with the high energy and the action and a lot of stuff going on the screen. You still get a lot of good detail, a lot of good effects. It's a very pretty, colorful game. And that's another noteworthy point about this game, is that because it is so colorful and bright, even though it is a fighting game, and it's geared toward people that usually play fighting games, it's also an E-rated Pokemon game, which means this is, in fact, kid-friendly. Obviously, with the Pokemon characters, it's from a franchise most well-known by children, but it's also just very colorful and fun. Even though you're battling, there's no blood, there's no fatalities, there's not a lot of the overly brutal violence you get in a lot of fighting games. It's more like the traditional Pokemon battling. You're using moves, but there's not really the violence and the consequences of actually hurting the other person that you would normally have. So it keeps it fun and allows you to play it with the whole family if that's what you're looking for. One quick note too is that, and I don't know if this was intentional or not, but it looks like the game is actually starting to take a nod toward the upcoming AR title Pokemon Go, in that the trainers in here, instead of summoning their Pokemon via Pokeballs, actually put on what appear to be little visors and see their Pokemon appear in a digital virtual space in front of them. So this may be nodding toward what we'll soon be able to do with our cell phones when Pokemon Go comes out, and see and capture and train Pokemon in the real-world environment while looking through a digital device. But back to what I was saying earlier about how this really is a good, family, kid-friendly game, really I feel like the best way to review something like this is to go with someone who's going to be brutally honest about it. And they always say that alcoholics and children are the most honest, and since I'm at a severe lack of alcohol right now, I'm going to let a child tell you why this game is great. Okay, you ready? Here. B jumps, and then Y, X, and A are your different attacks. And you'll have a little bar that'll fill up, like a special meter.
Yeah.
When it fills up, you hit both of these at the same time. And then you go into super strong mode. Okay. So what's your favorite game for the Wii U?
Probably this so far.
Good call. Just keep pushing one button now. You gotta try all the different attacks.
I know. But let's see what we'll do next time.
So what do you think? Good game?
Yeah.
Is it fun?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. So you win. So you don't have to dance. God. So you gonna try and get this game?
Yeah.
Okay. So overall, this was a really good game. I quite liked it, and I'm not usually a huge fighting game fan. I'm more into story-based stuff like RPGs and whatnot, but this still held my attention, and I've just found it really fun. There's a lot of different battle modes with the tutorials, the free mode, the multiplayer, both online and off, and the story tournament mode to go through, so there's a lot to keep you interested. Like I said before, the characters are very varied, so there's a lot of different fighting styles to master. Everything looks and sounds great while you're playing. Overall, it's a really solid title. If you're looking for another reason to break out the Wii U, this is definitely a good one. You can play it by yourself, with your friends, with your kids, anyone you want. You're going to have a great time, and I highly recommend it. And that's all I've got for you today. If you're looking for more on this or any other game, you can always check us out over at GamerAssaultWeekly.com, where we have plenty of news, reviews, and pretty much everything else related to games. Likewise, you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and various other social medias to keep up with what we're doing more on the day-to-day side. And if you want to see more of me and my awkward rambling and unnecessary pauses, then you can go over to my Awkward Gamer channel, where I'm doing reviews on games you probably haven't heard of. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.